You get a buff, you get a buff, and you get a buff when we're talking about BattleBit Remastered's weapons in this upcoming patch. G'day, my name is Big Bodsta, and in this video we will be covering the weapon balancing featuring in the next patch. In the time of recording this, the patch is not yet live, but these are the upcoming notes for the next patch. To start off, we have the FAMAS, which has a damage increase from 24 to 26. This will bring the gun up to a 4-shot kill without armor. Next, we have the SG550 muzzle scale changed from 0.85 to 0.6, just reducing it even further from the last patch, so hopefully now it won't be a firework going off in your face all the time when you shoot. Up next is one I'm looking most forward to getting my hands on, which is the Ultimax. Increase the reload speed by 10%, I'm assuming that's 10% quicker. Reduce first shot kick from 2 to 1.5, so the first round won't shoot up as much, which is really handy for using a medium range scope on the light machine gun, as well as you have the reduced vertical recoil from 1.5 to 1.1. So now the vertical recoil is pretty much nothing on this thing. It should be crazy low recoil. Increase the ADS speed from 0.35 to 0.3, so you can just aim down sights faster, and increase running speed from 0.9 to 0.925, so a tiny little bit of movement speed. This puts it in more line with what I thought the gun was going to be used for a medium range LMG that you could set up and have a medium range scope and cover a line or an area with this long range, more accurate LMG. So this will be the main thing that I'll be trying out. Up next we have the AsVal buff. Now I'm pretty sure I predicted this back when it was nerfed originally. I did say that the original nerf was a little bit too much, and I believe at some point it would have been brought back, and we're seeing that here. AsVal's horizontal recoil is lowered from 1.9 to 1.2, which is the main core issue with the AsVal, so that's amazing. The accuracy is increased from 68.75 to 75. It just means your shots will be going where you're aiming. The sound spread lowered from 600 to 200, which makes sense seeing that the gun has a suppressor built into it. The control lowered from 0.86 to 0.8. So that's just trying to equal out some of the buff, so that is one negative. The reload time increased from 3 seconds to 3.33 seconds. And damage fall off starting distance increased from 20 meters to 40 meters. So we get two negatives for the AsVal, but these are pretty much minor and non-existent, and then we get 4 really good buffs. I expect the AsVal usage to be pumped up now. Honey Badger was also nerfed at the time the AsVal was nerfed, so we're both seeing both guns get buffed at the same time. The Honey Badger is more of an adjustment, but overall I think it's a buff. So the damage is lowered from 32 to 28. This shouldn't do much, it only really changes the time to kill on low health targets. You still have to shoot 4 shots to kill someone, so this should be fine. The vertical recoil lowered from 1.5 to 1.25, just making it more manageable. And now the main one, horizontal recoil lowered from 1.9 to 1.1. Seeing that the Honey Badger had such high horizontal recoil as well and a built-in suppressor, you were unable to counter this horrendous horizontal recoil with the flash hider, which is the best counter to horizontal recoil. So now it should be a beamer of a weapon. The velocity is lowered though from 440 to 400, so you will have harder time shooting at targets at range. The accuracy increased from 68.75 to 72.25. Fire rate increased from 800 to 880, just giving it a little bit more of an oomph, and that should make up for the reduced damage. Sound spread, same as the AsVal, reduced from 600 to 200, makes sense with a suppressor. The reload time lowered from 4.17 seconds to 3.79 seconds. This is really needed as the reload was so bloody long. You might as well just throw your gun out and get a new one. The base magazine capacity increased from 24 to 25, just giving you an extra bullet, and damage fall off starting distance increased from 20 meters to 40 meters. So overall, amazing change to the Honey Badger. I think this should bring it up to being an A tier weapon for sure, and I do recommend trying it out, and also something that I will be trying out a lot myself. Up next we have the G36C. I thought this gun was pretty good, as well as my community already think that it was pretty decent. So we have the vertical recoil from 1.4 to 1.45, so it's a very slight increase in vertical recoil, but the horizontal recoil from 1 down to 0.84. So we're trading off a tiny bit of extra vertical recoil, which is easily adjustable with attachments, and we're decreasing the horizontal, which is the crux for most guns. So this thing will be an absolute beamer that you can set up. Up next we have the UMP45. We've got the damage increase from 25 to 28, so just giving it a little bit more of an oomph. The vertical recoil increased from 0.9 to 1, which is fine. The horizontal recoil increased from 0.5 to 0.65. Also pretty minimal changes to the recoil here. This should act the exact same. The velocity lowered from 500 to 475, also a minor change, and damage fall off start reduced from 50 to 30. So that's an actual pretty decent negative there. So this seems to be the most heavy of the Nerf side, with 1, 2, 3, 4 negative changes for an extra 3 damage, but I believe this thing should still be one of your most accurate SMGs on the market, and we'll be keen to try this one out. The thing that I'm going to be using the most is the PP2000. The big PP getting bigger, boys. Let's go. The PP has increased damage from 23 to 24. I believe this really only affects shooting targets with light armor. Please feel free to correct me in that, but you'll still need 5 shots to down someone without armor. And then we have reduced vertical recoil from 1.2 to 1.1, so just a very slight reduction. Now the kicker, increased fire rate from 900 to 1000. I believe now this is the 3rd fastest fire rate in the game, underneath the Vector and the Scorpion with 1000. So this thing will definitely be able to give the blicky. We have reduced aim down sight time from 0.2 seconds to 0.15 seconds, and reduction damage fall off starting distance from 50 meters to 30 meters. Now it already felt like this thing had no damage over range and you weren't really using it for that case. I'm really happy with this change and excited to try out the extra fire rate on the PP2000. That's pretty much all the adjustments for the guns. I'm really happy with what we're seeing so far. I'm really happy with more buffs than the nerfs. Most of my community feel the same. We should be buffing more of the weaker weapons than rather nerfing all the good ones, because then everything will just feel shit. And then there's always going to be a king on the throne, such as the Vector, which it was, and then it was dethroned. It was secretly the P90, which still hasn't been changed, but we do have some strong contenders coming up in the ranks, which is exciting to see. Now some more stuff which should make a lot of people happy. We have leaning spam has been nerfed. The leaning spam was mainly done by the people that were dropping 100 kills each game, and it shouldn't really have any negative effects on the standard community. The only negative that I see from this for average players just spamming lean left, lean right to say thank you, or just meme with your teammates. That's the only negative I see from this one. Then we have all snipers will give off a stronger muzzle flash, just making snipers more visible. Here's my tip, use a suppressor. And then there is no muzzle flash. Don't tell anyone though. Then we have the L86 will have default sight red dot. Now here is a positive for the Sweat Lords, is domination tickets increase, so the games will go longer, which means you have more time to get high kill games, so that's cool. The anti-grenade trophy moved to light gadget section from the heavy gadget section, so that's pretty good. Means the classes that have it will be more versatile now. The anti-grenade trophy will no longer destroy friendly grenades, also a huge pog, because that was pretty weird. You'd throw down your trophy, throw a grenade, and then your own trophy would blow it up. Really good quality of life change. The anti-grenade trophy will give XP when it destroys grenades. Also another positive, destroying an anti-grenade trophy will give XP. Also another reason why to destroy them. Now when you launch the game, news updates will no longer show up unless something has changed since last time you've booted it up. The next one, you'll essentially get and be rewarded squad points when you are defending or attacking a flag, even if it isn't marked by your captain. And then you have a bunch of guns that you can use 3 different scopes now. I'm not too sure which ones these are, but be sure to check them out when the patch is live. And a big one for you grinders out there is that prestiging will no longer reset weapon kills. This means that your gun will still be locked when you hit a certain level, but when you unlock it, you'll have all the kills for it and all the attachments that you've already unlocked, so you don't have to grind out each weapon and get your attachments back. So a huge pog for prestiging. It won't be as tedious now. As well as if you've already prestiged and you're like, no, this is shit, you'll actually be getting an exclusive skin if you've already prestiged before this change goes live. So if you haven't prestiged yet and the patch isn't live yet, I recommend prestiging if you have the time, and you get an exclusive skin. And once again, this is before the change goes live. But anyway, you should be fine prestiging afterwards. All essentially prestiging now will be you get bonus camos, you'll have to re-unlock the gun to be able to use it at each level, but you'll keep all your camos and attachments for your guns when you do re-unlock them. That's all the information so far as the time of recording for this patch. If there's any other major things, I will pin a comment down below regarding the remainder of the stuff I've missed. If you enjoy these update videos about BattleBit Remastered, make sure you drop a like and a subscribe to keep up to date with BattleBit Remastered. My ending thoughts, this is just all around good stuff still coming out from the BattleBit devs, changes that majority of players do approve of, and yeah, I still think this will be one of the best shooters of the year. Anyway, that will be it for this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll catch you in the next one. Big boy.